All right, hello all you Smithfield Junior High School students. This is the third lesson in the December series of putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes, putting ourselves in their skin and walking around in it for a little bit. So I'm at home today because this is the day that those folks are working hard to clean our campus, and so I figured you're all at home, I'm at home, I'd go ahead and make a SEL video because that seems like something that would be a good thing to do today. So that's where I am this time. So this lesson, the previous lessons have been about just the idea of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and why that's important, and then common courtesy, and then the next lesson after that was slightly harder because that one was putting yourself in a similar peer's shoes, not somebody who maybe is your best friend, but somebody who's kind of like you. Well, this lesson is about putting yourself in the shoes of somebody who is really different from you. But before we get to that, I want to do what I'm calling the video within the video. Some of you may have noticed that I was out last week, and when I was out, I was on a backpacking trip at Big Bend National Park, and while I was hiking, I had some thoughts about this whole idea of putting ourselves in other people's shoes, of seeing things from different perspectives, and how where you stand really defines how you're going to see things and how you're going to feel and experience things. So, real fast, this is the video within the video. Woo, here it comes. All right, hey all you Smithfield Tigers. This is going to be the video within the video for the third lesson about climbing inside somebody else's skin and walking around in it for a little bit. As you can see, I'm not at my house and I'm not at Smithfield Junior High. I am on the rim at Big Bend National Park. And I thought I would take this opportunity to think about perspective with you guys because I think it relates. So just bear with me, go with me here for a second. As you stand on the edge of this cliff, you're real aware that the way that you see things from this height and this distance is very different from the way people are seeing things that are down on the ground, down in that valley below. On the way up, you're also real aware that the perspective of somebody climbing that hill is pretty different from the perspective of somebody going down it. You're also pretty aware of the perspective of somebody kind of short, climbing steps that are like this high feels different from somebody who's 6 foot tall doing the same thing. And I thought all of those things related to what we've been trying to do in putting ourselves in other people's shoes and trying on what it would feel like to be that person. So since I had so many reminders here along the trail, I thought I'd throw this in as a part of next week's video, and we're just going to call this the video within the video. Hope y'all are doing well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you when I see you. Bye. Okay, now we're back from the video within the video, and I just wanted you to get a chance to see that and hear my thoughts on those things before we moved on to this week's lesson. So here's this week's. This week, we are talking about how we put ourselves in the shoes of somebody who is different from us. This is the hardest one to do because it requires you to really get outside of yourself and to think hard about what it would be like to be somebody who is really, really different from you. So the example that I want to ask you just to think about right now is you and your teachers. You're pretty different from those folks. All of them are older than you. Some of your teachers are 30, maybe even 40. I don't think we've got anybody that's 50 years older than you, but it's possible we might. So there's a large age difference between you and your teacher, okay? There's also a large experience difference between you and your teacher. And there may be other differences between you and your teachers as well, especially some of your teachers. There may be some of them that you're a little bit more like, you have some similar interests, or you have some things in common, and there may be others of your teachers who you really have nothing in common with. And so this is where I'm going to talk about this week. It can be hard for a student of any age to put themselves in their teacher's shoes and think about what it would be like to be that teacher. It can also be hard for teachers to put themselves in the students' chairs, the student desks, and to think about what it would be like to be those students. But I'm going to say that if we could do that, school would be a better place. Learning would happen faster and more efficiently. So let's think about this example, okay? Let's say that you've got a bunch of kids in a classroom, and let's say it's 8th period, it's the end of the day. And let's say one kid makes a joke that's kind of funny. It was a great opportunity. They say a little one-liner, and right after that kid makes that joke, another kid jumps on it and extends that joke a little further, and then 3 or 4 kids start popping off with other jokes, and before you know it, pretty much the whole class is laughing, and it's almost like when you knock over one domino, all of the dominoes are falling. It was just a chain reaction. All of a sudden, all the class is laughing, everybody's talking, and the teacher is up there trying to get everybody's attention and bring them back into what they were supposed to be doing. Now, let's think about from the different perspectives, okay? If that first kid, before that first kid made that joke, had thought, what would it be like to be in this teacher's shoes right now? I wonder what this teacher's experience had been. That might change what happened. If that student did that, the student might think, wait a second, it's 8th period. That teacher has taught 5 other classes or 6 other classes before now, and they're probably tired. They might think, this teacher spent a lot of time on this lesson plan because we were having a hard time learning this stuff, and so she stayed up really late last night to refine some things and to try to get it ready for us, and it didn't go off well because I'm about to make this joke, or maybe I shouldn't make this joke right now because this lady or this guy has worked pretty hard to get all this stuff ready for us. The other thing, if you put yourself in the teacher's standpoint or in the teacher's shoes that you might think about is, we've got short cycle tests coming up next week, and we're gonna get graded on that, but the teacher also kind of gets graded on it too, because how we do reflects how the teacher is doing. Oh, and the teacher's under pressure to get all of us up onto standard so that all of us can be successful on the STAR test. So she probably cares a lot about making sure that we hear what she's saying. So if a student would put the student self in the teacher's perspective, it might change the decision that the student made to make that joke at that particular time, okay? Now, here's the other thing I'll say. As a former teacher, somebody who's taught for a lot of years, it's pretty important for teachers to put themselves in the desks of the students and to think, it's 8th period. Those kids are probably tired. They've been sitting there all day long listening to adults yap at them. I wonder if we could do something for a second that would relieve the tension. Or I wonder if we just laughed at that joke right now and I laughed too, and we had a moment of quick chaos together. Could we pull it back on track, and could everybody focus a little bit better and learn what we've got to learn today? So see guys, it works both ways. It's hard to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's different from you. It's hard to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's coming at a problem from a different angle as you are or than you are. But if you will do it, things get better. If you will do it, goals get accomplished faster and with more success than if you just butt heads and refuse to see the other person's point of view or perspective. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to have a conversation with your teachers, and I want you to ask them, hey, what's the hardest part about being a teacher? What are some things that you are really challenged with? And what is the best part of being a teacher? What's the thing that you like the most about your job, so that you can understand where they're coming from their perspective? And then teachers, after that, I want you to ask your students, hey, what's the hardest part about being a student? What are some challenges that you face? What are some things that are frustrating or annoying for you? And then after that, ask them the positive side of that. What's your favorite part about this class? What's your favorite part about being a student, or the things that we do at school? That way the teachers, y'all can start understanding what it's like to be sitting in those student desks as well, okay? So remember, challenge-wise, we've also got that door decorating contest that we're judging on Wednesday the 16th. So at this point, I know everybody is tired, I know everybody is stressed, so if you decorate your door, you may have a chance to win it, because it may just be a battle of who can do something, not just who can do the most beautiful, wonderful thing ever. So I don't know, we're all doing the best we can with kind of some difficult situations, and I appreciate that about you. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.